I'm 40M, in love with an escort, 25F. 8 years ago my wife passed away and I had a difficult time coping. Eventually I tried online dating, but went nowhere. I started seeing an escort, and she was amazing. We really connected on an emotional as well as a physical level. I've seen her at least once a week for the past 5 years. I feel like we've grown close over this time and she's opened up to me as well. She's told me her real name Elle. I've been to her actual condo. She's told me her reasons for becoming an escort. We talk about her family. And I've even taken her on vacation several times. We text daily. We've talked about her school and her career, and this what is messing me up. I feel a strong connection, but I also realize it's her job. And I'm paying her. The problem for me is that she's now done school and is ready to move back home to begin her career and quit being an escort. She told me all this during Christmas. She bought me a PlayStation 5 for Christmas. WTF. She said it was a thank you for being a great client all these years, and she said she is gonna miss me. She said that even though I was a client I always made her feel special. She said she is gonna miss venting to me and appreciated me always listening to her. She said she is planning on making the move this spring. I'm mentally preparing for it but don't know if I can handle it. I think I am in love with her. I want to tell her this. I want to tell her I love her and she means everything to me. I really think she has feelings too. But I don't know. Maybe she's really good at her job. It's probably a long shot, but I'd love to be in a real relationship with her. Hell, I'd even relocate with her. Should I tell her I love her? I'm 40, no kids. I don't have a lot of close friends. All I have is my career. What do I have to lose? I don't know. And again, if this is all just a part of her job as an escort, I don't want to make her feel awkward. TL/Doctor, in love with an escort. She's quitting and moving away. Do I tell her my feelings? Don't tell her, ask her. If you just blurt out I'm in love with you and don't want you to leave, that's likely to put a lot of emotional pressure on her that will make her just nope out of there. Just say to her that you'd like to try taking her out on a real date, not as a client. And if she rejects you, accept it and move on. You are in love with the person she is at work, when she is with you. Yes, she has been open with you, and I'm sure genuinely likes you as a person, feels that you are safe and trustworthy, etc. But you can't fully know her because it is her job to be likable to you and you see her regularly enough that she counts on having a good rapport with you. You don't have an equal exchange going on here. You don't have access to her genuine personality in its entirety. I think you should look inward and try to parse apart how much of your feelings for her are based in the fact that the relationship is inherently free of conflict and the more painful and confusing aspects of dating. Please don't take any of this as me trying to be unkind, or diminish your feelings. It's understandable how you feel, and I have zero judgment. If it would make you feel more free, you should tell her your feelings, sure. But to me it sounds like she is trying to move forward with her life outside of this line of work, which is a boundary you must prepare yourself to respect. I feel like I have the unpopular opinion here, but that doesn't stop me. She's only 25, man. Now you're both adults and all that, but honestly, you're almost 20 years older than she is and at a very different point in life. She is just getting started. Does she want kids in the future? How far in the future? Because in 10 years she's only going to be in her 30s while you'll be in your 50s. I am not saying don't take the chance. I am saying really think about what you're asking her if you ask her to stay with you. She may be changing her entire life plan to say yes. Also, he started seeing her when he was 35 years old and she was 20. I know legally she was an adult then, but just barely, and I don't get how someone could be comfortable with an escort half his age. Though people on advice subs get defensive when you bring up age gaps. r/Escort. Ask the ladies in the biz. I think you'll get more qualified answers for the situation. Hi, former sex worker here. As awkward as it can be, I think because in this case she's moving back home, you might as well be honest with her. But personally, I don't think I'd want a client to straight up tell me they were in love. I'd phrase it more as I realize you're very special to me, and if you're interested as well, I'd love to try dating for real or something along those lines. Just be very prepared for the possibility of rejection. Escorts and sex workers are very, very good at making people, especially good clients, feel appreciated, and her actions like the PS5 could be literally just that. I have heard stories of girls falling in love with clients, and as rare as it is, it's not impossible. I wish you the best, Top. Hi, I used to be an escort. I think she probably has genuine feelings towards you, but not the same kind that you have for her. She likely sees you as a dear friend, and someone she cares about. But I don't think she's in love with you. I think if she was, she would be comfortable telling you. We do build real relationships, real friendship, real moments sometimes. I've had clients I really liked as people and had fun with, but I never had romantic feelings for them. It happens, I know it does, but given the dynamic she would tell you. That's the direction this usually goes if it happens successfully. I'm sorry, but there's not really anything to do here. She's moving on, and at some point you'll have to accept that. Please do what you can to take care of yourself and find someone else to talk to. You sound like a good person and friend. My husband's poor driving caused our infant son's death. Can't forgive him. I have tried, but I still love him. What do I do? You find a grief counselor or grief supportive group. Yeah, this is way too big for Reddit. You need to talk to a professional. I can't imagine what you're going through. The loss must be excruciating. I think it is a good thing that you are acknowledging your feelings. You have to allow yourself to grieve, you have to allow yourself to feel angry. Would definitely advise finding someone you can talk to, both friends and perhaps a therapist. Kudos to you for acknowledging the anger but still trying to make the relationship work. You'll certainly be in my thoughts. Dearest Top. At our darkest moments, when hope is lost and our loved ones leave this mortal coil, we often reflect on what could have been. In your case, you suffer because you imagine your child being alive if only your partner's driving wasn't reckless. What a cruel world. Tragedy is one of the most universal moments that all people share. It brings us to the depths of despair and truly makes us question our deepest meanings. A lot of tragedy has unfolded, been narrated and authored, and the collection of this sum total is multiple lifetimes or experience. It is from tragedy we learn to accept how flawed our reality is. It is easy to blame others for our tragedy or imagine what could have been, but ultimately we live with the consequence of all actions that surround us. Take part in humanity's greatest tragedies and learn that pain. Learn how forgiveness is nurtured and how to turn negative events into positive action. Finally, express your tragedy. Regardless of whether you want to leave your husband or not, a method of expression for your tragedy could be sculpting, music, anything you can imagine really, some method that allows your emotions to manifest into physical form. Do not let your pain go to waste and be forgotten. Your partner did not mean to kill your child. You are not obligated to forgive him. Please take care of yourself. Not to be flippant, you need to speak to a counselor ASAP, separately and together. No parent should ever have dealt with the death of their child at the hands of their spouse. My deepest condolences and may you find peace. We went to therapy for about a year after it happened. I quit going because I didn't feel like I was getting anything from it. Do you recommend I try and go back? This is so horribly sad. I know I would need counseling to find a way through it. With regard to forgiving your husband, I'd say first, don't promise that you will or even can. For your own sake, please be very precise about what forgiveness involves. Maybe there's no way to be with him without being overwhelmed by the pain he's caused. You don't have to hate him to need him out of your life. I'm not trying to push you to leave, I'm just feeling that the righteous anger you feel has to be fully heard and satisfied. It's a much, much worse version of rebuilding after an affair. The old marriage is over. Question is whether a new one can or should be built. Wishing you strength and comfort. Thank you. My husband has been pushing me to forgive, forget, and move on, and I just physically cannot. Maybe having a discussion about what he really means by forgiveness, like you said, will help. Thank you. My dad beat my 14 sister 18 so bad she was bleeding. 2 days ago my sister, 18, came home after midnight smelling like weed of course, and I guess she was drunk too. She would either call me or use her keys if she's coming in this late, but I was sleeping so I didn't wake up to her call and she rang the bell. I woke up a little to the sound of the bell but ended up falling asleep again and woke up a second time to loud noises. I thought there was a robber or someone broke in, and I had my phone in my hands ready to call the police if what I thought was real. I heard my sister crying and screaming so I opened the door a little and I saw her on the floor and my dad on top of her beating her, slapping her. He pulled her by her hair and threw her on the couch and beat her again, and she was trying to kick him but he put his legs on top of hers and she couldn't move and her nose was bleeding. I was crying behind the door but I was too scared to do anything. My dad never hit me or screamed at me. He only treats her bad and she doesn't complain, but he never got this level of bad. I went to check up on her after he went to his room and I helped her change and tucked her in my bed. She made me promise to not tell anyone. Today, my dad slapped her in front of me. He usually doesn't let me see it, because she didn't take a shower. My dad doesn't even care. He lets us decide those things. He just hates her, and when I tried to stand up for her my dad treats her worse because he thinks she sets me up for it. I hate him for what he does to her. My sister doesn't want to tell anyone, not even her closest friends know about this. She always lies to everyone about her bruises and no one questions it. Everyone thinks dad is this amazing person when he is really the worst. I feel bad because he treats me so good and hates her so much. I'm 14. Help, how do I stop him from hurting her more? She doesn't want anyone to know. And why does he hate her so much? She is even better than I am. She used to be the first in her class when she was my age, and she knows how to do everything, and she cooks for us and is basically our mom. She doesn't deserve to cry every day and be so sad and depressed. This is very dangerous situation for your sister. Your dad could seriously injure or kill your sister. Op, you must take action for your sister's sake. She is very vulnerable and there is no need to cover for your dad's abusive behavior. You must talk to police, teacher, relative, adult you can trust. Get advice as soon as possible. No action is not an option. Your sister needs to move out of violent home as quickly as possible. And now you are only 14 years old, but your sister is in great danger from person who should support, care and love your sister. Your dad is behaving like a thug, not a loving human being. Your sister is 18 who has whole life ahead of her. No one should go through what your sister is going through. Your sister should report your dad to police and press charges for hitting her on many occasions. She should under no circumstances protect your dad. Please take action as soon as possible. No action is not an option! Exclamation mark. Where is your mum? You really need to tell someone. Once is bad enough, but if this is ongoing, he could really hurt her. I don't know, somewhere in the world. But she doesn't care either way. I know another comment says call the police, but I think you should talk to a teacher or a counselor at your school, as they are mandated reporters and that might be more comfortable for you. Definitely tell a teacher. Ask to speak to them privately and talk to them about it. This is really bad and you shouldn't just let it continue happening. But he never got this level of bad. In situations like these, they always just get worse and worse. Save your sister and yourself before it's too late. Please report your dad. Your dad abusing your sister, an adult, is illegal. Him abusing your sister in front of you is child abuse and child endangerment. Given that he was abusing your sister before she was an adult, he could still get in trouble for that, too. If you don't feel comfortable talking to an adult at school, you can make a report directly to whatever Child Protective Services is called in your state, CPS, DCFS, etc. Just Google your state Child Protective Services, and it will show you how to contact them.